Hello, hello. Welcome to a special presentation episode of the Galactic Core podcast. This is just a nice little short one where we're going to have a chat with a very special guest about something that's popped up in the news this week that sort of just took my interest, and I wanted to have a chat with someone about it and have a bit of a laugh and a joke and see where it goes, because I think it's going to be something fun for everyone to sort of read when it comes out. But my guest today, I'm very lucky to be joined by David from the Why So Sidious podcast, who was on the show a few weeks ago with his co-host as well. It's a great episode, and David and his co-host were amazing to have on. But David, I just have one particular question for you.
Why so serious?
It's a beautiful. I love it. Thanks for having me on again, man. Stoked to be back. Happy to get an invite again. So yeah.
I'm really pleased to have you back. So let's let everyone at home know exactly why I've got you on this week, just to have a little quick chat about something. So scrolling through my Instagram a few days ago, and I popped up on this thing that there is going to be a new comic book crossover event from DC and Legendary Entertainment, and it's going to be the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Now I saw that, and there's some artwork online for it as well that they put up, and I thought, wow, this is going to be pretty damn random. So just to sort of read the synopsis of what they gave us, it just says that Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong is going to be a 7-issue crossover that sees the barriers between worlds break down and the creatures of the MonsterVerse spill over into the DC universe. The series begins with a seemingly ordinary battle between the Justice League and the Legion of Doom. However, the battle opens a doorway to the MonsterVerse, causing Godzilla, Kong, and other monsters to spill over into the DC universe. David, hit me with your immediate thoughts about this random event.
My immediate thought was, I thought it was fan art at first when I saw it on social media last night or whenever that was, and then I realized it was, I think it was DC who posted it. You said it. I mean, the word random hits it pretty well right on the nose. But then I thought, in a world where we have rumors of Fast and the Furious and Jurassic Park cinematic universes combining down the line, and also Transformers and G.I. Joe cinematic universes, why not? I guess at least this is, it's a comic, so you can be a little bit more fast and loose with things. It's pretty random, but it got me to look into it a little, and I didn't realize that Marvel has done this before. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
Yeah, so Marvel actually had a crossover with Godzilla. Now throw some stuff and comparisons, maybe talking about it a little bit down the road, but yeah, apparently it's been done before. But
interesting. I didn't realize that Marvel had done with Godzilla already, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it was just something that caught my eye sort of straight away. The artwork looked pretty decent as well, and it was just something that caught me. I think this might get people interested.
I don't even know what that means. No one knows what it means, but it's provocative. No, it's not. It gets the people going.
It is provocative.
Indeed, yeah. So, but when you hear those three sets of Justice League, Godzilla, Kong, and it's going to be an all-out battle, who does your mind immediately go to for a winner?
I mean, I immediately think of Superman flying at them and, hitting them with the Superman strength there. But then obviously the other thing is Batman, he comes up with a way to beat everybody. So, he's got a plan for every Justice League member. Something tells me he can put together a plan for a kaiju of some sort. But those are my first two thoughts. The Superman and Batman, totally different strategies. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variables, right? Do you think like you have a clear winner in your head at all? Or
I mean, immediately my mind went to Godzilla, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of different versions of Godzilla, to be fair. So which one we get, who actually knows? Immediately my mind goes to obviously the MonsterVerse films, the recent ones we've had, and that Godzilla, who's pretty damn badass. He takes almost every weapon that humans can throw at him, with the exception of Mechagodzilla, obviously. But any tanks, missiles, anything like that, even if they throw a nuke at him, he's going to absorb that, and it's just going to help him feel better, isn't it? It's just like cough syrup for him, isn't it? So, my immediate goes to Godzilla, but then I'm like, could Superman, since he's pretty much indestructible in Earth's yellow sun, could he literally just fly through Godzilla? Like, we've seen him do to various creatures, or we've seen other things similar to that where they just fly through a big bad monster. Would that be easy enough to kill him off? I think I mentioned to you before we start recording. Would Batman be able to have time to put together an anti-kaiju spray to use on them? Especially since it says there's going to be other monsters that spill over as well.
Yeah.
So
we'll probably see him take out a couple of monsters with some classic Batman plans. Obviously, he can't do it immediately to Godzilla, but yeah, no, you got to think and where do kaiju fall along Batman and Superman's kind of, no killing rules that they go about? Are they going to kill him? It is kind of a sentient creature here that we're dealing with. So where's that fall? But I will say, so when I mentioned, Marvel doing this, and like you said, there's so many different versions of Godzilla, but the version of Godzilla in this, it was 1977. So it wasn't the MonsterVerse Godzilla, obviously, but the Avengers at the end of the day, they weren't able to win. They kept trying physically to take him out. Thor and Iron Man were getting messed up by his atomic breath. So Thor is somewhat similar to Superman power charts wise, depending on which Thor and whatnot. But yeah, they tried to shrink it down with Pym particles, and its radiation was super resistant to it. And at the end of the day, they stopped fighting Godzilla and they just started saving civilians until one of the younger scientists befriended it, basically convinced it to turn around and go back into the wild. So they actually weren't able to defeat Godzilla physically. So yeah, it makes me wonder, if you're DC, you got to step it up, right? You see that Marvel did it and their heroes couldn't defeat them. So you're DC, you got to have the Justice League win this, right? I mean, you got to one up Marvel.
Do they though? I mean, if you're putting together two different brands like that, DC and Legendary Entertainment, are they want to really going to have someone outright win that? I see obviously them killing some monsters along the way, and assuming that this is maybe a alternate timeline world where it doesn't affect their main DC universe or whatever, you could have them kill off a couple of the Justice League for a bit of fun and be like, because not everyone should make it out of this battle. Let's be fair. There should be some of the monsters are going to die, and some of the Justice League surely are going to have to die. I mean, out of the main guys, who would you see? Would you see obviously say Batman, Superman, maybe the Flash or Wonder Woman being the ones that survive, and others are susceptible to being killed off, or is it just fair game, open world for everyone?
My thought immediately goes to a specific character because he always dies in every comic event in DC, and that's Shazam. Shazam always gets murdered by somebody in Injustice, in Justice League Dark. There's one other one too in which he died. He just always seems to die. So I feel like Shazam is, I don't know how he would, I guess maybe a Tom. I don't know. Shazam's just an immediate death to me. But outside of that, yeah, I think they would keep the Trinity alive. But yeah, I guess it all depends. But you're right about the whole, branching in with Legendary Entertainment. They probably don't want to have an outright winner. Yeah, that's a really good point. So they probably will keep it somewhat split. But yeah, no, I could see a Shazam dying, Green Arrow for sure. What's he going to do against Godzilla? Sorry, I like Green Arrow, but you're probably going to die. Yeah. So yeah, you need to throw some Justice League deaths in there.
I think one set, or one person we haven't mentioned yet, because as the title suggests, there's more than just Justice League and Godzilla. We've got Kong in there. Again, which Kong this is we're not going to know about. They tend to call the one that's part of the current MonsterVerse film Kong, don't they, rather than King Kong or anything like that?
Exactly.
Are we dismissing him out of hand because we're concentrating on the two other sets a bit much? Kong can hold his own for sure. Does he come out of this? Does he victorious? Where do we think Kong sits in all of this?
It's a good point, because Kong, like you said, he did. He held his own. He kicked some ass in that movie. Which I don't know. I actually liked that movie. I found it pretty entertaining, at least. I didn't expect it to be some masterpiece, but I found it pretty entertaining. No, Kong's going to put in some work too. Yeah, we can't disrespect him there. He'll definitely smash some people. Have him face off against a Gorilla Grodd, which I think I saw in one of the, like you said, they released some imaging, and I saw one of the pictures was them on Skull Island, and Gorilla Grodd was facing off against a skull crawler from Kong Skull Island movie. I totally disrespected Kong. I left him out of it, but yeah,
I didn't even think about Kong versus Gorilla Grodd. That would be certainly interesting,
right?
Absolutely. Because is Grodd part of the Legion of Doom?
Yes, I believe so.
I thought he was. I wasn't 100% sure, to be fair. But so it seems obviously we're probably going to get Legion of Doom in this as well. If if they're doing the opening battle that causes this to happen. So Grog versus Kong, I like that. That's going to be because obviously there's definitely a bit of a size difference there.
Yeah,
but there's also then a bit of an intelligence difference on the flip side, isn't there?
Exactly. That you could do some creative stuff with it, and in that panel, it showed Cheetah and a couple of other DC villains. So yeah, that will probably get some villains dying too, I would imagine. But yeah, Kong could have some cool matchups with some people. I don't know. Is Mechagodzilla going to be in this? Because that we saw how messed up he can do, or how messed up he can make things. So
I think that tips the scales to the MonsterVerse side, doesn't it? Really, if you get Mechagodzilla in there as well. So
3 of them, yeah.
Since it has mentioned other monsters, I mean, how familiar are you with the MonsterVerse? Are there any other particular monsters that you would love to see pop over?
Yes. So I'm more familiar with the MonsterVerse than I would have ever guessed that I would be. I don't remember. I think it was during quarantine. I watched them all again. I like the first Godzilla. I do. I like the first Godzilla. King of the Monsters has some amazing monster scenes. It's just dragged down by some of the worst on-screen human storytelling I've ever seen in my life. Just awful. Every time humans are on screen, it's just horrible.
Sorry to interrupt you. I absolutely agree with this. It pisses me off so much that when it's something like this, Godzilla versus Kong as well, they feel like they have to put a human element in there. Otherwise, audiences aren't going to be able to relate to it. Like, I don't care about the humans. Get them out the way. Let us see more battles between Godzilla and Kong, or Godzilla and the other monsters. We don't need that distraction of whatever a face is from Stranger Things, trying to distract things.
Yeah, I'm here to watch Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I can't tell you how little I care about Millie Bobby Brown and her divorced parents and their emotional structure. I don't care. Yeah. That's not why I'm watching this movie. It's not for an emotional heart tug or pulling the heartstrings or anything like that. That's not why I'm watching this movie. It's for the monsters. It's called King of the Monsters. And I enjoy Stranger Things, but Millie Bobby Brown's character in that was awful. So I don't understand why I do that. But sorry, to get back to your original question, Ghidorah, I believe is the name of the 3-headed dragon. That'd be pretty freaking sweet to see, because man, he was monstrous, or she was monstrous in that freaking movie, just towering over Godzilla. So that would be pretty cool to see. It'd be pretty cool to see Mothra maybe pop in and kind of play a neutral side, because she's kind of, the peaceful monster. She kind of comes in and kind of helps stuff in that regard. So yeah, I would at least like to see those two, see some skull crawlers get killed with these. Got to have some bantha fodder there. So I'm good with that. But what about you?
Yeah, I think Ghidorah, I'd love to see them, especially if it's similar to the film version we got, because absolutely badass in that film. It was always going to get beaten by Godzilla at the end. That's the way, obviously, it has to go down. But the fact that, in that particular film, King of the Monsters, they were just able to take over the rest of the monsters and sort of have them do their bidding. And they were like, look, I am the king on top of this hill. You will do what I say.
Oh, that was sick.
It was absolutely sick, to be fair. I really enjoyed the battles between Ghidorah and Godzilla in that film. Out of the MonsterVerse films, which one is your favorite? Because I think we've had 5 now, is it?
Let's see. We got Godzilla, Skull Island, King of Monsters, Godzilla vs. Kong.
We've got another one on the way, haven't we? So we have got.
Yes. I forgot what it is.
There is a 5th one. It's Godzilla and Kong versus something else, isn't it? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I can't remember, but yeah, they started marketing it. So I would say, man, it's hard because Godzilla has a lot of good stuff in it, but a lot of slow and goofy stuff, and they pan away from fights a lot in the first Godzilla. But I think I'll go with Godzilla, just because I really did enjoy it. It's got some beautiful cinematography. Bryan Cranston's barely in it, but I liked Aaron Taylor Johnson's character in it. No, I'm sorry.
Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. Sorry, I was just looking.
That's what it is. Okay, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna lean into. We'll go King of Monsters, just because, again, it's got some of the worst human, but the monster aspects of that movie was some of the most entertaining kaiju stuff I've ever seen on screen. So that's the point of that franchise. I'll go with that movie.
I'm probably agreeing with you. King of the Monsters is top of the list for me. Okay. I think Kong Skull Island slips in at number 2.
Yeah.
because as much as there is a lot more obviously human interaction in that particular film, you've got Samuel L. Jackson, you've got Tom Hiddleston, you've got Brie Larson, and they were amazing in that film together. So I really enjoyed that film as a whole. I think I have to agree that I was a little bit annoyed with Godzilla because of how much they do pan away from the main battles when you see them, especially the early on ones when they're sort of like doing that thing of, it's Godzilla, but they're waiting to have that effect of actually showing him in full. So you only get to see his legs or a bit of a swipe here and there. And they needed to do a little bit better with that, to be fair, as this was like the cinema, the modern day cinema introduction to Godzilla. Apart from that weird film that we had in like 98 or whatever it was, where it was like laying eggs everywhere in the stadium.
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
It was like a T-Rex. It wasn't even really Godzilla. Like it was just a large T-Rex.
It was just like continuation of Jurassic Park on land.
Yeah, no, you are right. They leaned into that way too much, into the mystery and suspense of finally revealing Godzilla. They did about 6 scenes too many. Like they could have stuck with 1 or 2 kind of teasing it, but they just kept teasing it and teasing it and teasing it. And but I agree with you on Skull Island. I think it's the best human story told in any of those movies, and it's very entertaining for me. John C. Reilly's role at the end of it is hilarious.
Oh, yeah, he was good in that. Yeah,
you boys are gonna die. You shouldn't have come here.
That was good, to be fair. Yeah. Do you know much about this new Godzilla film that's coming out this year? What was it, Godzilla -1?
Absolutely nothing.
I saw a teaser trailer for it, I think a week or 2 ago. I didn't even know this was coming out. Apparently it's set sort of after World War II in Japan, where their economy is like obviously crashing after the war anyway. And then Godzilla turns up, goes on a massive rampage, and causes much more economical damage to Japan.
Oh gosh!
And this is it. So. Because it was just in the teaser trailer, it looked like the same Godzilla that we've had in the MonsterVerse films recently. Okay. So I don't know if it is connected to it, or if just the fact that the way they're doing Godzillas nowadays, they all look similar. Right. But I have no word if it's connected. I haven't been able to see anything about it. But it was just random that this popped up out of nowhere, and it's been announced for a few years. And later on this year, we're getting a Godzilla film.
Now, is it an animation or is this live action?
It looked like from the trailer it was live action. It didn't look like it was animated.
I haven't seen the trailer. What in the world? I haven't heard like anything about that.
It was just like a 30 or 40-second trailer. So yeah, it looked live action to me. It didn't look animated. So it was just completely random. I've seen no press about it, no news about it. Nothing. So
weird. Okay, well, I mean, I'm here again. I like Godzilla, so. Yeah, I'll go watch it and give it a try, but that is very, very weird. I haven't heard anything about that.
So go rounding back the circle then to this 7-issue crossover comic. Is this something now that you've heard about it that you would be eager to dive into and read, or is it something that you might pick up one day? How are you feeling about this? Because to be fair, I don't buy that many comics anymore. Apart from maybe Star Wars ones. I keep on top of my Star Wars knowledge pretty well. Okay. But I think this is something I'm actually going to look for and get it week by week, because I want to see how this goes down.
It does pique my curiosity. I will say that I have a long list of comics that I have like on the queue of I need to read this, and I go off and on with the Marvel Unlimited app, which I like the physical copy more. It's just better. You have the full page and everything in your hand, but Marvel Unlimited app's pretty good if you have an iPad or something. I like it. You know what? I'm not counting it out. I'm very curious. So at the very least, maybe I'll get a preview of the first issue, and if it hooks me, then I'll go into it and get one. But I'm not putting it out. I'm curious. At the very least, I'm going to read how it ends. But I'm going to put it on my list, my queue, comics queue, and I'm going to try to get to it.
Absolutely. Yep, definitely something I'm going to jump into. But David, thank you very much indeed. I just wanted to jump on with someone, have a quick chat about this and the intrigue that this particular crossover is going to bring. So I appreciate you taking time out of your Friday night to jump onto this little special presentation.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Love it.
Just quickly remind everyone at home where we can find you in your social media online.
Yeah, you can find us at Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Why So Sidious Pod. And Threads, but that feels like that thing's dying already. But you can hop on there and follow us. That'd be cool. And YouTube, just YouTube/Why So Sidious, the nerd podcast. And actually, I think it's just Why So Sidious. Look at me just killing the game there.
Ooh.
But yeah, that's where you can find us. And we're on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google, all those good things. So
nice. Yep. I recommend everyone goes and gives you a follow, listen to your podcast, because it has turned out to be one of my favorites. I love you and Caleb and JD all together. You guys are amazing together. Like I said, I really enjoyed having you on a few weeks back. So but thanks everyone for tuning in. There's just a short little special presentation, and I will catch you next time. Everyone take care.